Classic movie. And I'm back with my co-host, Dr. Eric Goldman, film historian and authority on films dealing with Jewish themes. We shall also point out that around this wasn't the only film at that time that came out with this subject matter. I mean, Crossfire came out the same year.
Yes.
And that was based on a book that had to do with prejudice against homosexuals, but they changed it for the movie because that was a little too inflammatory for 1947 audiences. So they changed it to Prejudice Against Jews. But so that was kind of stirring up at other studios as well.
Yeah, there was actually even a race.
Yeah, to get it, which one
would come out first.
Yeah, but it was a time, because the war was over, that we didn't have the Nazis to talk about or to be the villains, so they took on these other subjects. But the one thing I thought was great about Zanuck was the fact that not only did he make classy films with, you know, wonderful stars like John Garfield and Gregory Peck and Tyrone Power and Gene Tierney and these wonderfully glamorous people, but he also, you know, used the screen in a really valid way, I think.
And the audiences loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, even these themes that you don't think an audience maybe would pack in to see, but they did. Because he put Gregory Peck in it and John Garfield and all that. And wasn't Celeste Holm wonderful in it?
It's terrific.
Yeah, and also that scene is so powerful, I think, when he goes to the hotel to check in and can't get a room.
You know, there he was.
Once they notice his name.
You know, there he was, you know, it was the flute in and hi. As we saw, I have a reservation. By the way, are you, that is, are you, powerful. And it really spoke about the times. And leave it to Zanuck to just strike that fist and say, not acceptable in America.
Yeah, you said that in your studies of it, that they had trouble finding a way to end the movie.
Couldn't figure it out, so he actually turned to the novelist Laura Z. Hobson, and he sought her help, and she actually helped Moss pull together that ending that we saw, where in a certain sense, you know, the John Garfield character, Dave Goldman, finds a way to allow Dorothy McGuire to find some peace and connect. It's just, you know, heart genius, not terribly committed as a Jew, but he certainly knew he was a Jew. And I think that also played into it. There was a sensitivity that he brought to this.
Right, interesting. So, moving on. Do stay with us, because up next, Eric and I are going to be back to talk about another movie which really fits in with our theme tonight. This one's from director Edward Dmytryk and stars three Roberts: Robert Young, Robert Mitchum, and Robert Ryan.
Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, Robert Ryan's anti-Semitism spills over into first-degree murder in Crossfire. Then William H. Macy's mistakenly identified as a Jew in Focus. And Paul Muni stars in the Oscar-winning biopic, The Life of Emile Zola.